superstars, talented celebrities worked a little bit with Hillary W. But a lot of different things. One of his tracks, Haunted Dance Hall, was featured in a Hollywood film starring Hillary W. Guys, Hillary W. And Snakes on Planes was played on BBC Radio in Cameron to 1 million people live. Oh my goodness, I get goosebumps going all the down my spine.
Well, it's not. It's nice to help that.
All right, so you know what? How did you get into music and running your company? Tell me a little bit about that.
I started off early. My mum was a musician, so I kind of got into it really early, just watching her playing piano and just kind of, you know, she was like dropping boogie woogie kind of left hand thing going on, and I was just really kind of like blown away by it. So I just wanted to know how she did it. So I just watched, you know, and by sort of, you know, about the age of 10, do you know what I mean? I was starting to play a few chords and finding my way around the piano. And then I, you know, got into bands. I was supporting kind of big reggae bands when I was about 16, bands from sort of like the Midlands area who were kind of like bands like Misty and Roots and Steel Pulse, big kind of like sonic, epic juggernaut bands that were just, you know, really doing it on that front. So I was lucky enough to be hanging around with some very cool people at an early age, and then moved up to London from the South Coast, and then I got a deal with EMI, making house records with some really cool people. And then, you know, went through the sort of sail through the 90s, basically making records in the UK and Australia, and having a few hits here, there, and everywhere. And then came back to the UK in early 2000s and set up Kusha Deep Records, really because the industry had kind of changed. You know, done a bit of a 360, and I've been putting out records on Kusha Deep Record, you know, obviously since then, and just really just building that whole kind of legacy brand, if you like, so people kind of know that when they're tuning into what I'm doing, they're getting a bit of quality. Do you know what I mean? That's it in a nutshell. Can you hear me all right?
I do see, yes, I can hear you. You're coming through loud and clear, and that's just fabulous. I love it. So tell me a little bit about Ceasefire. You have various EPs that's out now that you put out in the past and right now. Tell me a little bit about Ceasefire.
Ceasefire was an EP that was out in 2015. It was me kind of, revisiting my kind of reggae kind of influences, you know, the Jamaican sort of dancehall flavors that I was really into as a kid. And I'd been through sort of doing lots of different kind of things musically, and it was just me just revisiting things that I was kind of really into, you know. So there's certain things that you hear in a dancehall situation, which you know, like just certain bass lines and certain grooves. And so there was a few things that had been in my consciousness from an early age that I just felt, you know what, I want to revisit that. I want to put some vibes around it, some new vibes, and that's where the Ceasefire kind of idea came from. There's 3 tracks on that with some remixes as well. You know, there's a track on there called Back from the Brink, which is actually really just about putting down the weapons and you know, and putting down the kind of the animosity towards each other and trying to work things out, you know, finding peace within our differences. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I do have a little record I need to take right now, then I'll come back and play a little bit of your music, if that's okay.
That's super cool with me.
Wonderful. All right, so you guys are going to jump into a little break, then we're going to come back and play some music by this awesome, talented young man. We're going to get into it. All right, I want you guys to take a listen to this.